back on the Gunflint Trail, leaving Grand Marais to head back up to the Superior Trail. Welcome to part 2 of my Superior hiking trail trip. After a town day in Grand Marais, I hiked down to Temperance River State Park over the next several days. This section corresponds to MAT Series E. Day 5, back on the trail. The first half mile off of the road was uphill the whole way, over 1,000 feet of elevation gain. So finally on a flat part, have a big gap to my next water supply, so I have to be a little judicious with that. But my pace can be pretty leisurely today. I'm going much less distance than my days so far. I also want to talk about my day 4 roses and thorns, because it was a town day, so a lot happened. My rose was definitely being able to shower and do laundry, just feeling fresh. Just does wonders for your mind. My thorn was actually last night at the campground. There was a massive windstorm, no rain or anything like that. But the windstorm kept whipping my tent around. It actually collapsed the tent onto me in the middle of the night, so I had to get up and reset it up. It was just not a relaxing night of sleep. Windstorm, of course, died down half an hour before dawn. So this is the best view I've had so far of a beaver dam, completely blocking up this creek, making this pond, this little trickle coming out below it. So every camp has this fire pit and these benches around them, which are really nice. But when you're at the cut log camp, the cut log is the place to hang out. The chair with a back is something you don't see too often out in the backcountry. And then my tent right over there. What are my day 5 roses and thorns? So my rose is definitely this cutout bench at the camp here. Having a spot at camp to be able to lean against, rest your back against, is incredible. Haven't had that at any campsite so far, so definitely a huge blessing. My thorn is at one of the campsites earlier today. I passed this couple who had been out here 14 days and due to injury are unfortunately having to stop, which I was sad for them. Luckily, I haven't had any soreness now for a few days in my legs. I still have the blisters, but I'm powering through them, so I'm on track, but it was sad to see someone else not being able to finish what they started. As I'm eating dinner, it occurred to me this is going to be my first night on trail in the campsite by myself. So I do have my earplugs, I do have my sleep mask to block out the full moon, which has been surprisingly bright, and any noises. But it is just the first time. It took me 5 nights. I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner, but I'm ready for it and excited to go to bed.
Good morning from the tent. I don't have internet service here, but from what I remember of the forecasts the day before, this was a night in the 40s, the first one we've seen. So I was very comfy in the sleeping bag and very hesitant to leave it right now. But we'll get going. We are doing breakfast at the Cascade Lodge today, one of the recommendations from the locals. So looking forward to some eggs perhaps, or maybe even some French toast to fill that.
Officially in my second state park, Cascade River State Park. Not stopping here long. There is a place called the Cascade Lodge that I've heard about that I'm going to stop for breakfast. But other than that, I'm going to plow right through it. Rounded the corner and saw that straight uphill. It definitely looks worse in person than it does on the film. Came up on this amphitheater at the top of the hill, was wondering what it was looking at. My first big mountain lake. Makes sense. Good morning all. Day 7 and some bad news. Also definitely my rose for yesterday. My water filter stopped working. It's the electric one, which I was so happy about on day 1. The motor's still running, but it is just not drying. I did all of the debugging and back flushing I could, and it is still not working. So I'm having to go off trail to the nearby town where in their general store they've confirmed they do have some of the camping filters. So I'm doing that, but that does mean backtracking. The rose for yesterday was the beautiful campsite we stayed at. It was on the side of a lake on a little rock that stuck out. Full stars, saw the space station, multiple planets, a couple shooting stars. It was the clearest campsite in terms of looking at the sky that I've had all time. And that was just really a wonderful, wonderful change of pace. Cascade Lodge, 10 minutes east on Highway 61. That was what I did for breakfast a full 24 hours ago. 11 o'clock, back on the trail. This is actually about where I expected to be at 11 o'clock. So while I missed 5 miles of trail, unfortunately, I think it was a worthwhile sacrifice. As the day is winding down for day 7, wanted to give my roses and my thorns. These ones were pretty easy. My thorn is very obviously my water filter completely breaking because it's the only store in town. Prices were quite high for a piece of gear I already have at home. So annoying, but the new one works. The old one's gone. The rose is, as I doubled back this morning to go to the general store, the first gentleman who passed me in his truck did give me a lift into town, which was really nice. I didn't have to do that, but I've heard that the folks here in Minnesota are very kind to the hitchhikers, especially if they have packs on their back. So thank you to that gentleman for giving me the ride. Saved me 4 miles of extra walking in addition to the 15 I had planned today. Night of day 7. I'm ending up staying in this little backcountry cabin area. It's a little bit off the trail, but this is an area of the trail notorious for not having water. So they have an artesian well, which is fantastic, pre-filtered. They also had a shower, which I was able to use. So those 2 things combined, plus power to recharge some of my devices, made it a no-brainer. So this is boreal backcountry for anyone looking at Superior Hiking Trail. I wanted to basically take a minute to talk about some of the new gear that I have since I started the trail, since there have been some pretty hefty changes. First are my new sandals. These are Tiva. I forget the exact name. I'll post them up flashing on the screen. They are a little bit heavier, but they are certainly very much sturdier than the Mayflies I was using earlier. This was a worthwhile upgrade in terms of weight. Second, my water filter actually broke. So now I was lucky enough to go to a general store, and they had the Katadyn hiker filter, which is one I had seen before, but I had not personally used. It is a little bit lighter than the one I had. It functions basically the same way. You dump the one inlet hose in the water, and instead of electrically pumping it out, you manually pump it out. So while it is not electric and there's a little bit of manual pumping action required, this actually does work faster than the electric one. Everything else is working out great. And I believe early tomorrow morning at some point, I'll be hitting 100 miles, which is a huge milestone. It means I've completed the Outdoor Vitals 100-mile challenge, but it's also 40% of the overall trail. So on my map, I saw this spot marked as the mediocre overlook, and I was curious to see, and yeah, it's all right. Appropriately named. So my rose yesterday was basically the awe in which the locals or the day hikers treat you with when you say you're through hiking the whole thing. They treat you almost like you're some kind of mythical creature, or stare at you wistfully saying, oh, I thought about doing that once, but I don't think I ever could. My rose for the day was definitely both of my heels. They were very, very sore yesterday. Yesterday afternoon was the first significant chunk of stretch. I went 5 hours, and I was under 2 miles an hour for that stretch. First time that's happened to me in the whole trail, so that was disconcerting. But luckily I had made such good pace in the morning that I still was able to hit my target exactly.
Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and stay tuned for more videos on my superior hiking journey.